Boom. Get my vibes going. Raise it down a little bit. Minute. All right. Comments. Boom. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 3 of the Lead Poison live stream. I appreciate you guys hanging out on Monday. Tonight's subject. Wow, I'm gonna need some water. Give me a second. Let's get some water, baby. Okay. As I was saying, welcome to episode 3 of the Lead Poison live stream. We do this every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate you guys tuning in from wherever you guys are. So I'm hoping that you guys are off to a great start to your work week. Tonight's subject is, as you can see, a Batman commission that I got. So because this is going to be bigger than a lot of the other pieces that I've done on Lead Poison, I rendered in my rough pencils. So basically what I'm going to be doing on the stream tonight is the full ink work, right? So tonight I'm going to be doing a combination of some Micron, a bit of brushed ink, and as always, I love my dip pen. Right? So that's going to be on the mix. I'm going to be using a few different inking techniques. I'm going to be doing some smudging, applying some of the ink work by brush, right? Just so that there's some nice gritty effects and some of the energy and the speed lines, right? Now, the composition for this piece is, if you know, right? It's based on the Akira motorcycle slide, right? So the client was very specific about incorporating Batman in this composition. So that's what I did here, right? So if you guys just bear with me a moment, I'm going to get my ink set up, get some water, and we'll jump right into it. Got a little water here. All right. So this will, I'm going to use that to create my grays. I'm going to be using one of my saber brushes. I'm going to be using my dip pen, my handy dandy dip pen, a thinner sable brush, and the thing I'm going to use, the smallest micron I can find, right, for some really fine hatching details. All right, so we're going to use the 01 micron, and let's get into it. Yeah. So immediately, I'm going to start the center, right? Get some of these finer details in Batman in first, and then I'm going to jump out towards. You can't see them like at the moment, but I like got some batarangs like coming out the viewer, right? But working in some of these smaller details in the piece first, in my opinion, would kind of, you know, be ideal. We get this out of the way, right? And the only reason why I'm using a micron as opposed to my dip pen is because, you know, there's a lot of little nuances here that I gotta pay attention to, and uh, respectfully, you know, I want to respect you guys' time, right? So I want to work through this rather quickly without noodling too long, right? So these smaller areas, I'd rather just drop those in with a micron really, really quick. And then for the rest of the piece, you know, I'm just gonna go dip pen. So normally I would do my pencils with you guys live on the stream, but because like I mentioned, this is a bit bigger than the previous pieces. I wanted to kind of jump right into the meat and potatoes, as it were, for uh, for this piece. Right now, pull out the ink. Smoke cup. Grab a little piece of scrap. Put it here. Now, with the batarangs, we're going to be hatching most of these lines in to emulate, you know, their traversal in the air, right? A little spin. So I'm going to break up my line in order to give the effect of the batarang in motion, sort of like imaging through itself. All right. I'm gonna get the curve right in here. And the one in the center here. This one's gonna be a bit more flat. From the other angle. And we'll cut here. Boom. Hey Charles, how's it going? Welcome to the stream, sir. For those of you just tuning in, Charles Morgan, fellow artist, writer to a great pulp comic called Cold Cutter. Charles, feel free to drop your links in the chat so that people know where to find you, where they can get Cold Cutter. I was fortunate enough to do a variant cover on Cold Cutter #1. A lot of fun doing that. We got 1, 2. I got this one here. Let to redip. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Fun little Batman piece. You know, surprisingly enough, Batman isn't like a favorite character of mine, right? Like, I like Batman, but I'm not like uber Batman fanboy, right? But I do a pretty decent Batman. Like, for for someone who's not a Bat fanboy, I do a pretty decent Batman. I must say. One, two, three, four. One up here. Thank you for the studio cover on issue 1. Cold Cover issue 4 launches in a week on Kickstarter. Yes, absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you click that link to be notified when the campaign goes live for Cold Cutter #4. Now, Charles, will you be offering a catch-up tier on the campaign for those that are new to Cold Cutter, right? And they want to get some context on the story? Ah, yes, I see it now. I see it now. Yes, you answered my question. The 1 through 3 catch-up. That's awesome. Yeah, there's a few launches going on over the course of this month and next month. We got Cold Cutter #4 dropping. We got the Philbo Omnibus dropping. Shout out to Phil Russert and Philbo Entertainment. What else we got? We got DM Ray's Mad Caps issue number 2, of which again I was fortunate enough to have been the artist for issue two's official cover. Right. So I highly recommend you guys, check out the links in my link tree. Because I always post the Kickstarter links to any campaign that I'm involved in. Actually, I think that's pinned actually to my profile on Facebook. So if you guys are on FB, it should be pinned to the top of my feed. The campaign for Madcaps number 2. You know, this is the year of the indie creator, ladies and gentlemen. So you guys got to make sure that you support indie comics. Sketchup tier is available. Also, your cover will be the cover for issue number 1 on the catch-up tier. Nice. See that, ladies and gentlemen? It's not too late. If you miss it the first time around, you got an opportunity to get my variant in the catch-up tier for Cold Cutter number 4. Support your indie creators. This is the year of the indie creator. Don't get lost in the sauce. I will make an admission that when it comes to illustrating like motorcycles, I used to hate it just because when it came to like vehicles in general were kind of like my weakness. It's like, how do I make this vehicle uh convincing? How do I basically draw this vehicle in a way where like it looks like it can be ridden, like the plausibility of this being a working machine in the world. Like, how do I make that convincing? It's always been like a little bit of a struggle of mine, but I'm proud of how this came out. I think my love for illustrating mecha, like Transformers and Gundam suits, like, helps me out with this. So really quick, if you guys are new to the stream, I appreciate you hanging out. I do this every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, the Lead Poison live stream. We're broadcasting live currently on Twitch, on Facebook, and on YouTube. So I want to say thank you to everyone popping in, like popping into the live, and those that'll watch it later. Thank you for checking it out. I do this every Monday, and I feel like it's a great way to share my process. I'm not one of those artists that gatekeep. I like to share my process with everyone, right? It's part of the uh, the art instructor in me, right? So I don't gatekeep techniques. I don't gatekeep materials. I'm all about helping the community continue to be creative. Here, I gotta say that many opportunities to do a Batman, but one definitely a fun piece. Chris, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Chris Borman in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you're just dropping in some line work, Chris. I figured I would save a little bit of time and knock out the pencils to this Batman off stream so that I can spend the stream just dropping in all the blacks, right? As opposed to have you guys like sit through uh, the full pencil render. I mean, this piece is bigger than like the previous pieces that I've done on stream. I mean, it's about the same size as the Havoc piece, but like this one's got a lot more detail than Havoc that I did in episode one. So I thought it'd be a good idea to just kind of bang out all these little details off stream so that we could get to the meat and potatoes, which is like the inking and dropping in all of the blacks and grays. So here, just gonna up in muscles here. This will be obviously an ink piece, but I'm going to do an ink wash for some grays. Right, do a little bit of smudging where it calls for it, where we get like some dustier values. So if you're new to the stream and you want to commission some artwork that I could potentially do live, uh, in the description you'll find my Instagram handle along with my email. So shoot me a DM or an email. Try to see what you're interested in. Get that very reasonably priced. Get that utility belt in. I can see better. Saturday, one perspective really jumps out. Very deep. Yeah, that was what I was going for, right? Like, and I know that when we had the stream, Will and I on Saturday, it was still in the blue pencil, and it's only because I'm really really rough when I'm trying to figure out my composition. So um, I wanted to like really like iron out some wrinkles, right? Before today's stream, and really get that nice forced perspective into Batman, and have the batarangs kind of firing outwards. It's like it's almost like the movement draws you in and then pushes you back out. You know, I wanted this piece to feel really energetic and be a legit homage to Akira, which is one of my favorite introductory anime. So I'm playing to a few strengths here. Let's see. I want to measure drop before I go over. Once again, thank you for tuning in to tonight's stream. My Twitch audience, my YouTube audience, my Facebook audience. The Lead Poison live stream every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Happy MLK, everybody. Delicate spots. Going to be blacks and grays, gray and dark blue, black and yellow, or lighter blue and grays. This is going to be just straight black and gray. Um, the client didn't commission any color on this, but because it's larger than like the previous pieces I've done on the stream, um, not necessarily because it's larger, but because there's more details in it. Uh, I started the stream after my pencils were already in. I think I did in episode one. I did like the havoc like full pencils, inks, and then in color. This one's just going to be black and white, so it's pretty straightforward. Right. Had rain yesterday in pencil. It really came together in the end. You can see it on on my FB page. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll check that out. I'll check that out. I gotta show you some of the Star Wars stuff I'm doing behind the scenes. It's like my first run on Star Wars, and I'm very very excited about it because it's like anime Star Wars. You know what I mean? So this is gonna be just black and white. We're gonna add some gray washes to this, so we get some uh, nice sort of like pulp comic effect, and play around with like some of the light sources from like the light poles on the side of the highway here. I want to see if I can do something interesting to where it feels like maybe there's like headlights shining on Batman. Over here, we'll push a lot of energy into this cape. And see what's going on here. I'm out of ink already on the nib. I have to dip this a little deeper. Let's see if that works a little better now. Much better. I have a Star Wars sketchbook, so I've penciled about 7 pieces lately. Oh, dope! Nice, nice. I gotta do more Star Wars stuff. Like working on this Star Wars project that I'm on right now has kind of opened me up to all of the diversity in Star Wars, like the character diversity in Star Wars. Because it's like because it's such a rich, uh, such a rich like sort of like character base in Star Wars. Like There's some really uniquely designed characters, and I'm like discovering that now, like not now, but like it's something that I've always known, but it's different when when you have to draw it. You know what I mean? Like I've done some sketch some like small like sketch card commissions that were based on different Star Wars properties, but the one that I'm doing now has kind of given me a bit of new perspective, you know, and it's a bit of a challenge because I'm forced to think about how to communicate these characters in like a manga anime style. You know what I mean? That you know, on surface, it sounds like something easy, but not really, because on one hand, you want to be true to the style, right? Because even in the manga anime uh, field, like there's tiers, right? Like you don't want to go too cute with it, right? And then some of the more serious uh, IPs in that genre tend to lean more into realism than they do like the typical style that we know the genre to present itself in. You like Star Wars Vision series? Um, Fun fact. Uh, it the artist that I work with, I think he worked on that. Right, Will Clayton. Shout out to him. He might pop in because I know it's early in Australia for him. He worked on that series, and he was showing me a lot of the stuff that he did like behind the scenes, and he was eating that set up. So I've seen a lot of really nice work on that series. So shout out to all the artists that worked on that. But I'm excited to show off what I did and show it off to you guys. It being like my first like official Star Wars stuff. Let's get his fins there and the gloves. Boom. I'm not gonna noodle too much. I just want to drop in a little bit of the hatching. A lot of the shadow work is gonna be done with a brush, but I want to block in some of these areas because it'll help me later. What did you think of the Vision series, Nate? I had a guy that was doing some such as the DC characters in anime style. The best one he did was Speedy shooting his bow about half the episode. Great. Okay. Yeah, reimagining reimagining characters we typically see in like the traditional comic style or an American cartoon style in a new way is it's fun. 'Cause I'm having that experience right now with Star Wars. All right, this will be something of a twirl in here. So, all right, we're getting there. It's breathing. It's breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one was a dual, and the other was the element. Ah, okay, yeah. The one since I watched the business series. Uh, I just that I agree. I agree. I think it warrants a rewatch. I've been to a lot of shows that I fell behind on. Like I just finished uh, the new season of Castlevania. I really like that show. I mean, the animation can get a little wonky, but I do enjoy uh, the fight scenes in that. The fight scenes in that anime are fantastic. It's pretty decently written, in my opinion. Pretty decently written. Oh, and start dropping in these wheels. A lot of the more defined line work is going to go into like Batman and the motorcycle. The rest of it is going to be filled in with brush. So really, this will be more, um, I guess, the tedious part, right? Making sure that these lines are nice and mechanically straight or straight enough. So, that feels good. Feels good. And there. Let's add a little lip here. I can picture the street being blurred to represent motion. That's kind of what I'm gonna go for. You know, that's kind of what I'm gonna go for. I mean, like it's mid uh slide, so you know a lot of the cityscape behind them is gonna be blurred or very minimal, right? So that a lot of the focus is right here. Again, I wanted to convey a lot of energy, right? Lots of energy in what we're doing here. It's these little mechanical parts that like I sometimes like struggle with. They're like when I build vehicles like from scratch, it's it's part of the OCD in me to illustrate it in a way where it's like where it makes sense. Like I can't just kind of just do it to do it. It's it's gotta like feel plausible to me. right? Like even even the cape being long like that, like messes with me simply because I know that, if it were a real bike, like that cape would get caught in the back wheel, 100%. And then you know, Batman's not wearing a helmet. He takes a nasty spill, and Iron Will Clayton, the man, the myth, legend. Guys, tune into Back to the Drawing Board with Iron Will Clayton, who's in the chat right now, and myself. We're gearing up to put together some goodies for you guys, some visual candy, if you will. You know, we're gonna continue to muscle through the Masters of the Universe drawing challenge, but we got some fun stuff lined up for you guys, right? That'll not only test our mettle as as artists, but it'll be fun for you guys, to watch us struggle. All right. But thank you, sir. Exciting things are being announced this week. Indeed. Indeed. We've got good things are coming. Good things. Good thing are coming. Swing this down like that. Let's get some of this tire tread in. Just bear with me, guys. I'm trying to be very precise with my lines here, and look at the chat. I don't want my lines to come out wonky. Let's get a little terminal line in here for this little hydraulic piston. Get a little seat cushion going on in here, for the for the bat posture. Let's get the little cross tread in here. That's going to drop into shadow. We're going to throw a little halo right here to show the edge of the tire. So that's going to be black. We'll fade. We'll hatch into the steam coming off the tire. like so. Oh, are you guys just sticking to original look on all the Masters characters, or are you guys going to do any of the different series that have been done through the years? That's a good question. For myself, speaking for myself, right? Because Will is in the chat, and I think Will can answer his uh, his interpretation to his answer to that question, right? So when we do the Masters of the Universe drawing challenge, right? Like Will composes a few different versions of the character, right? So it's the toy version, the animated series version, you know, the version from the mini comics, right? So we have a pretty decent idea of what are some of the, I guess, like common elements or details in that specific character, right? And how like there's different variations of said character. So, like for example, like right now we're doing Tila, right? And there's a version of Tila from the mini comics that's blonde, right? And like her armor and her little bodysuit are just arranged very differently from what we've seen in cartoon shows, what we've seen in toys, you know. So I did a version that's, well, I can show it to you guys. Give me a second. Right, but let me show you what I did. So this is my version of Tila, right? Like it's more of the classic look with a bit of elements from like the toy, a bit of the mini comic, right? So this is still a work in progress. I got some paint layers that I got to build up on this, right? Now, depending on the character, you know, and in the moment we kind of decide like what way we want to go, right? So like Will Will has with the majority of his characters gone the way of like the action figure, right? So he'll like emulate the color palette from the action figure, maybe borrow a couple elements from like the TV show or something. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a bit of a hodgepodge. So much fun to draw superhero and villains and their machines. Indeed, indeed. That this was the total like brainchild because I'm just kind of like you know borrowing from different Batman iterations and maybe some real life stuff and some concept like motorcycles and such, and just kind of making like an amalgam of all of those things in one. Uh, Nate says some of the new designs on villains took me more to me look more menacing and well detailed. No, for sure, for sure. Like there's versions of some of the characters that look really really good. Like the modern versions look really really good. Like I liked the way they designed Man at Arms in like the new Kevin Smith, right? 'Cause I felt like okay, like this dude looks like he like builds weapons and armor and he forges stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it made it legit, versus like in the OG design, it was just Burt Reynolds in armor. You know, you know what I'm saying? So Like I feel that. But yeah, we borrow from different elements, and then a lot of the time we'll put together an amalgam of small details into the overall painting, right? So that it's like it could be something new, and it doesn't necessarily have to lean heavily into, the classic look. 'Cause I understand some people are purists, but yeah, we borrow from different elements and like different designs that we feel like make the character more of a badass, right? Because some characters were depicted kind of goofy, like with Beastman, for example. you know. So I made Beastman look, more menacing, like an animal. Will did the same thing. He made him look more primal. James Games. Oh, is this an animation you're doing? No, 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 no. This is uh a live stream, right? So this was a commission piece that came in through my Etsy store, and I'm doing the inks live, right? I'm going to complete this live on stream for everyone to kind of see my process. Let's see. Well, Will says, "Spot on, Kenny. We honor what we love about previous eras of the character and illustration, but we try to ground them in our own sense of reality." Exactly. Yeah. Like that's basically it. Want to kind of because like some characters were really really good in the series, but were depicted as just like grunts, and it's like that, what I mean? It's like in retrospect, you look back at it and it's like that character wouldn't have been as stupid as they depicted him to be. You know what I mean? Story wise, you know. J Game says, "Oh, I thought you were doing animation for a show or something." No, 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 no. I do tons of stuff behind the scenes, right? Because I'm a freelance artist. So I've done pitches for shows, I've done storyboards, I've been published, a bunch of times. I've done stuff for Marvel, for DC, for Dynamite, for a lot of indie guys, so this is just, a commission piece that I'm doing live on the stream for my audience on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Chris Foreman says, "I've taken the Warner Brothers Studios tour several times. The George Clooney Batmobile actually has the Batman logo from the tread pad. That's dope. That's really dope. As a matter of fact, I saw this on Instagram just yesterday. As a matter of fact, the of the guy who's actually housing the original Batmobile from '89 Batman, right? And he's and in the clip he describes how when Keaton got into the Batmobile the very first time and they closed the hatch cut off his ears, right? So they had to like lower the seat or take the seat out for him to sit in it comfortably and not have it like cut off the ears. And then he opens up the back where like the turbine would be for like the boost and everything, and it's a rig for a flamethrower. Like it was really really cool, but like you can actually drive it. Like he drove it out of the garage. It was dope. Let's see. I've been reading One Piece for a bit now, and I'm almost done with Amazon Lily. Dude, One Piece. That's an odyssey. That's an odyssey that you've taken on, sir. I tried, and it's like between waiting for Berserk, to finish, and what is it that I'm reading? I'm reading Berserk. I'm reading Hell's Paradise. Um, but I think like Hell's Paradise will end soon. Chainsaw Man is done. Really, just it's just Berserk, and I'm also reading uh, Something Is Killing the Children by from Boom Studios. It's fantastic. If you're into like horror, if you're into like supernatural, like action, a little bit of gore, it's really really well written and very very well illustrated. You should check that out, dude. Two more chapters, okay, okay. At some point, I know I'm like at least a decade behind on One Piece, but now my son got into it. I gotta check it out, or at least like pick up again, so I can kind of get reacclimated to what's going on. I think you should try it out. The Orleans Peak, and once you reach Harlem Park, it'll hook you. No, and look, you hit the nail on the head right now, right? You said that the world building is peak, right? And that's one of the things that, in my opinion, manga is superior to over American comics, right? They're they're not building the world. They're not doing a lot of the character development that you know is necessary to really get the reader interested in the story and in the book. you know like I've read chapters of Berserk that like have made me emotional, like legit moved me. Like that's why for me Berserk is always going to be top tier. It's going to be like top of the mountain for me. uh Reading is actually pretty quick. Oh yeah, no, reading is super quick. The chapters, they go by really fast. In just a bit over a week, and I've already read almost half of it. Oh, okay, dope, 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 dope. Are you reading it online or are you actually buying the books? So glad you didn't try to do the Batman animated series motorcycle. The car is iconic, but the cycle looked like they took the building's architecture, slap it onto onto a bike. Yeah, dude, I wasn't gonna go for that. Like the bike that I designed here is kind of like an amalgam of the motorcycle from the Flash movie, um, the bike from Akira, and like a Ducati, right? Like a concept Ducati. So I borrowed like elements from all of those, right? To kind of make this. I Frankensteined it to make this monstrosity. Only online is the only way you can. It, I mean, do you prefer online versus like the physical books? I love Luffy so much, and this works so much. This basically confirms to me personally that he's asexual, and that's really important to me because I am, and there's just really not a lot of asexual representation. I mean, that that was kind of clued in early on, if you to really think about it. Like I, in manga, you know, there's always the typical like manga archetypes, right? You got the edge lord, you got the goofy character, you got, and like the goofy character is always hungry and is kind of like oblivious to a lot of, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like One Piece is one of those manga that play up to all of those archetypes in a way where, you know, it puts it in like a ragtag group, right? Where there's someone like everyone in the group represents like a circle, like a social circle. You know what I'm saying? it's not like it's not like say like Bleach. You know, I love Bleach. Kenpachi Zaraki is like my guy. Him and Byakuya. Like those two guys, I love those characters like deeply, like huge fan of those guys, right? But even then, there wasn't a whole lot of character variety in the way they were written. You know what I'm saying? Like for the most part, everyone kind of played it straight, except for like Cone. You know what I mean? But I just physically cannot get the physical books chapters at the moment. Oh, okay. No, so, there's that I use to get the actual physical chapters, the physical books. So if you're interested, dude, like shoot me a DM, to remind me, and I'll shoot you the link. And they're pretty reasonably priced. You know what I'm saying? So like, they do get the Japanese stuff too, the imports. But I'm pretty sure you're gonna want to read like the translated stuff. But the place that I order my manga from, they they got everything. They got everything, and they're really really good. Like that's where I got all my chapters of Hell's Paradise, all of my chapters for Berserk, for um, Soul Eater, which is like one that I wanted to collect after I watched the anime. I just wish that the Trigger was not in the Berserk manga. To me, he wins it with pushing the humor and dark and serious story. What, Puck? You don't like Puck? The blasphemy. I like Puck. Now, here is here is a bit of a hot take, Nate. I want to know, as a fellow Berserk fan, I want to know what you think about this, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this take already. Like, it's been said that Puck is a figment of Guts' imagination because Guts is the only one that acknowledges him for the majority of Berserk. You know what I mean? Like I gotta look through it again in like the recent chapters because I know they made it to Elfhelm. Casca got her consciousness back, but for the majority of the run of Berserk, no one acknowledges Puck other than Guts. And when we first see Puck, it's when Guts is in that prison, right? When in the arc where he's going after that first apostle, the one that was like eating kids. You know what I mean? But for for the most part, I like Puck. I think because like look, there's moments where like Berserk is too much of a downer, and like I need that break. There've been chapters of Berserk where I'm like, oh, this is too dark, and I gotta like kind of rinse my palate out with like some Disney shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Also, alongside not having volumes near me, I also just don't have any space for them. And also, I like being able to read it whenever I want for free. Oh, true, true. You can't beat that. But I'm a bit of a purist in the sense that I gotta have it. Like I gotta have the volumes, the physical volumes in my hand. You know what I mean? It says in the manga, I believe. Yeah, it's insinuated that like it's like Puck is a figment of Guts' imagination. But I think in the second season of the anime, I believe he's acknowledged by other characters. Okay, I gotta look at that. Yeah, Jay, you got to get a few volumes, dude. Like, for example, my son is 12 years old, right? And he's just discovering anime and manga, right? He's into Pokemon, he's into Beyblade, right? He's into TMNT. So I recently got him the the TMNT crossover with Naruto, which is beautifully illustrated by one of my favorite comic artists working today, George Jimenez. Um, I also ordered him the uh, Beyblade X manga, right? And he's loving it, man. Like it's important to kind of get your hands on some volumes, dude. Because what are you gonna do if your phone's not charged? That would be the his lobby. Find somebody else has active. I got you. Yes, the fandom of certain IPs can ruin it, can it? Can't they? Like some of the JoJo stands. I think that'll be in black. Do that in black. That'll be black. Just kind of lightly hatch in that. Put a little shadow underneath this ab muscle right here. A little bit under the pec. Now that most of the line art is done on the bike, I'm gonna start blocking in some of the black areas, right? Right. That's where we see it like really come together. Once again, shout out to my Twitch audience, my YouTube audience, my Facebook audience. I appreciate you guys hanging out on this Monday night. This is episode 3 of the Lead Poison live stream. On the Lead Poison live stream, I basically worked through a full drawing from beginning to end, right? So it's an opportunity to see my full process, and I work on different subject matter, right? Like I think for like 2 weeks, I did X-Men characters, right? No, 3 weeks. Now that I think about it, because episode 1 was Havoc of X Factor. Then after that, I did Colossus, and last week I did Magneto. So uh, this week we're doing. Batman, right? As per what the client commissioned. Actually, let me rinse the nib out. Now I'm going to drop in some of the details in the foreground and some of the rubble on the concrete. And then we'll be ready to drop in the brushwork. Now, you'll see me sort of like doubling up on some of these lines so that the line can breathe a little bit and create that energy that I need for that motion of the skid going back. The little drift. Darker and more sadistic, similar to what they did in Tokyo Ghoul during the torture scenes, or even like writing. Okay, those kind of things need to be amped up. I hear that. I hear that. You know, I think I think it also depends on what the writer was going through at the time. You know, because like as a creative, you know, a lot of a lot of what you're going through, you know, reflects in the work. You know what I mean? That you know, like in the story, Guts is in a place where he almost feels defeated. Like it's not the same guy from the Black Swordsman arc. You know, he almost feels like softer, like he's lost a bit of his fire. Like he realizes that, you know, Griffith is like on another level, and he's not going to be so easily killed. And it's like, you know, what's he doing it for now? Because like Kafka's still kind of repulsed by him. You know what I'm saying? Hey Gina, happy New Year. Fawad, what's going on, Fawad? Congratulations on all of the acting success, sir. I saw that you landed uh, NCIS. Was it NCIS? No, it was, no, it was Law and Order, wasn't it? You're just all over the place, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Fawad Siddiqui puts a lot of energy and dust into the drift here. Oh, Once again, thank you to all of you in my Twitch audience, my YouTube audience, Facebook, for tuning in to this episode of the Lead Poison live stream. I go live every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, I do a full drawing from beginning to end. Because I'm a firm believer in not gatekeeping my process, right? It is something that I preach to a lot of my students, to observe how other artists work. It's how I was able to kind of come up a little bit, you know. So I'm sharing said process with you guys, right? And just, hanging out, vibing, talking nerdy stuff, comics, manga, TV, movies, all that fun stuff. Let's see, that's going to be hard shadow. Hard shadow, I'll paint that in. This we're going to hatch in. Pull that back at an angle to fit perspective. This is a bit of noodling, a little bit of a tedious part because I really want to achieve the effect that I'm going for. So just bear with me. But so far we're getting there. I think I can head to rest for now. And we're going to switch over to the brush and lock in some of these heavy dark areas. So really quick, real shameless plug. If you don't want to miss any future episodes or the drawing stream that I do with Will, right, which is back to the drawing board. We're working through the Masters of the Universe currently drawing challenge. Make sure you give me a follow on Twitch. I always I simulcast that stream here on my Twitch. I simulcast it as well on YouTube. So make sure you give me a follow. Give me the likes, give me the subscribes, so you can stay plugged in to all the things, right? That the schedule is crazy, but I am able to manage my time so I can give you guys a stream once a week or twice now with Will. I just enjoy this. More of the sync going. And also, Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. I do stream live on Whatnot. All right, give me a search. Wildings Ken, the way you see it on your screen there on the bottom. That's my Instagram handle as well as the handle on Whatnot. So if you're looking for uh, commission opportunities, I do have things on there that can be commissioned. I do have sketch covers. I got artist proofs from sketch card sets that I've previously worked on. Um, what else I got on there? Tons of stuff. Tons of stuff. So just give me a search. Wildings Ken on Whatnot. I stream at 2 p.m. Eastern every Friday. And even if you missed the stream and you still want to commission something, you can always shoot me a message there, and we'll get you set up. Right. Let's push some blacks in here. I don't know if it's better just a tease. No, no, it's gonna be a regular thing. It's gonna be a regular thing. It's we took a little bit of a break because deadlines, right? Will got caught up with some stuff that he's doing for tops, some stuff that he did for upper deck. I was in the same boat. I'm still on an indie book that I'm wrapping up. I'm I also got another indie book you know in the pipeline set for Q1 or at least for me to start in Q1. Um, and we also do the sketch card stuff for top upper deck. So like I still missed it, and it was because I miss streaming so much that I started Lead Poison. So I wanted to kind of shake the streaming rust off. But and like Will mentioned, we're back in a big way. We're going to be announcing some stuff this Saturday. So do not miss it. Back to the drawing board. Saturday nights Eastern Standard at 8 p.m. So I'm gonna keep pushing some of this black underneath the bike, but I'm gonna do it in the grain of the drift for the strokes that we have in the brush. Right, and get that nice and grainy so that we could get that nice energetic skid going back. So yeah, dude, we're back. We're gonna be doing a bunch of different things on the stream as well. So just to kind of break up the monotony, we're gonna do some uh, some studies like sketchbook studies. We're gonna do some sketch card stuff. Uh, Will finally got his stock of sketch cards, so we're gonna give you guys a little more variety this year. There we go. A little more ink on this brush, and we'll jump into the cape, and then I'll pull out my finer brush for the mask. Go. There's some hatching lines going back. Cut a little bit here. This section of the tire is away from the light. Boom. This will be a heavy dark spot. Push that in. Get a little more in here. Let's see what I'm missing. All right, I think we're in good shape. Get a bit of black in there. Small bit. Right in there. Okay. I'm going to switch to a thinner brush so we can get a lot of the little details in there on Batman. Ooh, forgot the tape. My bad. This part of inking is always really, really satisfying. In here, Bear with me, guys, if I get too quiet. Gotta be precise in these parts right here because it's easy to screw this up. Let's flip this over so I can get that angle nice. There we go. That's going to be the batarang. That's keeping here. Push a little shadow in here. Sharpen that up. All right. Work around. Some of this ink is wet. Got all these little shadows in here. You like that? You know what I'm saying? The whole Akira vibe. Yes, sir. This is a commission. This is a commission. For those of you in the audience that that would be interested in commissioning me, if you go into the description of this video, you will find my Instagram handle and my email, my direct email. So if, like, you know, you're getting a commission done, and if you know you get a commission done live, you know, shoot me an email. We'll chop it up and see what we can do. You know, I'm very reasonably priced, and you know, let's create some heat. Please say no. Nah, dude. This one was commissioned by the same guy that commissioned the Magneto that I did last week and the Colossus that I did the week before. he's, he's a genius. Yeah, yeah. No, this is a lot of fun. And he like DM'd me with like three more like possible ideas. So like I may just, you know, spend these next few episodes on just his stuff. Look, honestly, I, I only know how to do this one way. You know, I only know how to do it one way. Guys, if then this goes out to my Twitch audience. If you guys are on Twitch, make sure you give Hollywood One a follow. He is on the road to 200 right now. You know what I'm saying? Very talented gamer. Plug yourself in the chat, my friend. That's my little bro right there. You know what I mean? He streams a lot of fighters. We've been streaming a lot of Rivals, Marvel. Yeah, on occasion we'll do a little Call of Duty. Lots of Elden Ring, definitely fighters. He's primarily a fighter streamer, a fight streamer, right? But he'll do some solo plays and all that. Nice little variety. Nice little variety. So yeah, definitely give him a follow. Hollywood One Gaming. We are out here. It is episode 3 of the Lead Poison live stream, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. You know what I'm saying? It is Batman tonight. A fun little piece. Kind of switch it up a little bit. My balance piece. I can get all of my heavy black values in before I switch back to like my pen and get some fine some fine lines. All right. That looks like we are ready to switch. So like I was saying, make sure you give Hollywood One a follow, because chances are you'll see me in the game with him. All right. You'll hear my voice in the voice chat. You'll see me playing alongside him or against him. Depending on the game. And if the rest of the crew jumps in, then that's when hijinks ensues. And it's good fun. Boom. All right. The soups to his bat. Indeed. Indeed. We are world's finest out here. You know, no cap, as they say. Who says this would also look killer in gouache? You're not wrong, though. You are not wrong. However, you know, respectfully, with all due respect to the client, he didn't pay gouache money. You, you know what I mean? He didn't pay gouache money. I'm giving him his money's worth and maybe a little extra because you know I tend to forget that these pieces aren't staying in my portfolio. Like I gotta pack this bad boy up as soon as I'm done with it and ship it out. So with my micron here, just kind of tightening up some of these stray areas where the brush kind of got away from me. I mean, to be fair, it was a big brush. And Chris Borman says This is what? This is your fourth drawing. Can't be episode 3. But it is. It's episode 3 of the lead poison series. It is episode 3 because I did this one, right? No, is it episode 4? Am I tripping? No, it is episode 3. 'Cause I did this one, right? This is number 3. The Moon Knight that I did for that client, I didn't do that live. So, um, you know what? You might be right because I did Magneto last week. I did the Colossus before that, right? And then the first one that I did under the lead poison moniker was the Havoc that I did for that client on Facebook. But officially under the lead poison moniker, like with the branding and everything. This is episode 3. Episode 3. Who's counting? Who's counting? We'll just call it number 3. Havoc was a test run, to kind of shake the streaming rust off. You know, the official tissues here, as it were, under lead poison. Some of these soft hatching marks here. So we get that tire curve. All right. Now let's get the irony. The late Tommy Castillo used to say, "Always give them more than they're paying for, because that day you give them less, that will be your reputation." Oh, oh, you yes, 100%, 100%. And I tend to do that. Like I tend to forget, you know, that it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? And I really, really go in, and you can tell, with every piece that I do, I pour a lot of energy into it. And it's a lot of TLC. You know what I mean? That respectfully, I didn't have to like go full city background. Like that was me for my own visual satisfaction. You know, because this is like a bigger piece, and he's been very, very happy with the work that I've been giving him to this point. So I want to make sure that he's equally as happy with this piece. So I'm going to get some of these smaller, finer shadows in on the other arm. Then once all my blacks are in, I'm going to start dropping the grays. Like a lot of the heavier blacks are going to be on Batman. I'm gonna avoid going too dark in the background, right? Because I want to draw the viewer's eye in my Batman. Go here. Boom. I tried to get some pieces done by him, but I only knew them on his decline. Ah, that's sad. That is sad. Here we go. A little more ink on the brush. These tighter areas here on the bike. Boom. Here. This is a more tedious aspect of what I'm doing here, but you know, it's necessary for the overall aesthetic of the message I'm trying to convey here. You know, with the way Batman is twisted, the way he's sitting on the bike. We need all that to work in tandem. Bam. There we go. That feels good. Well, no, I figured, I figured, you know, he's one of the few guys out there that like, you know what I mean, like one of the few guys out there that doesn't like kind of phone it in. You know what I'm saying? Like especially with a philosophy like what Chris mentioned. You know, giving the people more. Always want to give them more. That's been my philosophy for a long time. Let's get in here so we can get a nice separation of the thumb there from the forearm. Bam. Perfect. So now let's look at this bike here. The batarangs are going to be in gray. I'm going to do the bat symbol on his chest with a pen so that it remains sharp. With a brush, we can make sure we get that nice and sharpy. Now let's tighten up those little edges. Okay. Tommy and I were good friends, and he hid the fact that he was losing his eyesight from me. Yes. That's unfortunate, man. I'm gonna drop a little bit of hatching here. I'm gonna push some of these muscles into a bit of shadow. Right underneath this pec. I mean, I'm gonna throw some grays in here anyway, but we want to give this Batman a nice sort of comic book quality here in the way he's rendered. Once again, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Monday night for episode 3 of the Lead Poison live stream. Tonight's subject is Batman. Let me get this soft cast shadow hatched in here. Right. Now, a lot of this is going to go into shadow, right? Because the bike's leaning away from the light. doing trail lines on the banner. No, 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 no. I'm just gonna give him the spinning swoosh lines, right? These little spinning lines. 'Cause I feel like it would be too busy, you know, coming from the trail lines coming from Batman's hand, and I wanted to keep it kind of clean, right? Because we already have a lot of energy with the forced perspective, right? The 1 point perspective in the shot, and I didn't want it to come off too busy, right? Because I still wanted to show off Batman on the lean of the bike, and then have the batarang like coming at you. So like I'm probably gonna hit the batarangs with a bolder outline so that it feels like they're popping out a bit more. Um, but yeah, I was just trying to avoid it feeling like too busy. Like um if I didn't have like the idea of putting a very minimal cityscape in the background, probably. Even then, like I would have kind of placed the batarangs in a way where like framed them in a way where it was sort of like highlight Batman but not block too much of the bike. 'Cause I did think about like doing the motion line for his hands, like swinging it outward. But I figured, with the momentum of going back, him leaning, we get the force perspective here, right? I feel like the mind's eye already reads it that way. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to do too much. It's more of a show me, don't tell me kind of deal, right? We're just dropping some light hatches here and on the inside of the rims. So, so before I start dropping in the grays, I want to get the highway wall in, and that's going to be solid black. It's just another element to help frame Batman. All right, so let me just drop that in. Give the drawing a quick once over with the okay. Then we'll start with the smudging. want to be careful here because I got batarang here. Brush bent a little bit. We could clean that spot up because there's gonna be a lot there. That's wet. Okay. Get a little bit back against the bike. All right. Now we give this a quick once over with the eraser. So we can fill in our grays. Let's get in here a little bit. I think that's what's gonna bring it all like together. So it's gonna tie it all together and start adding the grays. So let's get our gray wash primed right now. Make sure it's not too wet. Get in here. Get in here. Let's get a little more water. Drop shadow behind Batman and then go in around the corner of the bike. All right. Push a little gray in there. Get a little more water. and gray as well. And get in here. Oh, let's get some grays on bats. Drop a shadow under the chin. Ever since I discovered how to do this, like effectively, it's probably one of my favorite techniques to implement in black and white work. So it's like it's not just black and white line art. Like you get a little something extra. Get a little more on the brush. Go a little heavier in some areas to push some deeper values. Kind of bring out some of the shape language in the bike. Right here. Shadows in here. It's coming together. Coming together. Some grays in the cape. Put some grays here. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the whole intention, right? So that it's got like some gray values, So it has a bit of a manga kind of effect, right? Nothing is an accident, Nate. Nothing is an accident. Nothing is an accident. Boom. Get a little darker in there. Play with some shape language, bring it out a bit more. And push a little shadow around Batman's leg here, right? So we get that nice pop of the batarang. Right. This part is in gray as well. Boom. Indeed. Just let that gray tone live wherever it wants to. Just let that happy little gray tone live wherever it wants to. You know, we don't make mistakes. We make happy accidents. Boom. So before I jump up there, I want to pull some more of the grays down towards the viewer, down towards the bottom, rather. Right, so right from where we have the bike shadow, I'm gonna just kind of tug it down. A little more water. Add the gray, flattening out towards that wall. Give us a little bit of a plane of existence here. Now we're seeing more of the energy. Now we can see a lot more of that movement, the momentum, and the drift. Get some of that right where the wall meets. There's more right there. A little more water. Here we go. All right. So now I have some buildings kind of sketched in lightly in the background. I'm going to fill those buildings in with grays, but I'm going to do it in a way where like it doesn't distract from what we got going on here in the foreground. And obviously, I want it to look like Gotham at night. So I'm not gonna do the wash all the way to the bottom, right? Because we're gonna have like some street lights. Right. I'm gonna make sure that my brush isn't too wet because then it'll like buckle the paper. All right. We got another building back here between these two. All right. One back here. Here we go. Get a little bit of that under here. Not going to go all the way down to the horizon because we still want to depict some light, right? Like some street lights. Like I have more buildings over to the left. Get in here. And leave the areas where my light is emanating from negative. It'll be easier to feed some of the white ink into that. Because once all the buildings are in, I'm gonna follow it up with a bit of white ink to get some lights in those windows. or maybe not. Maybe I think I'm saying after I get the gray wash in on these buildings, I think that would do it. I mean, we don't want to overwork the paper. You know, we just want to make sure that the messages are delivered loud and clear, right? So Batman seemingly in a chase on his bat cycle on a highway in Gotham, goes into the Akira slide and tosses batarangs at whoever's chasing him. Let's see. A building here. Not Tokyo Drift, but Gotham Drift. Yes, Gotham drifting. Gotham drifting. Captured that by Akira slide. Awesome. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You know, it's got to be authentic. You know, it's got to be authentic. All right, let's throw another building right here. This one I didn't draw in, but we can kind of fill in the space and imply that there's a building here. All right. Now, these are going to be some of my street lights. Now, going to give me this little glare that I want. So now, let's see if we can get a darker gray pushed in here. So now we got a bit of depth in the buildings themselves. All right. So now we are going to try something. I'm going to grab a little bit of this ink with a round brush. Drop it in my night sky. Now with the same brush, a bit of ink water, we'll fill in some of those blue spots with a bit of the darker gray. So we get a nice little night sky in Gotham. All right, let's get a little bit more in the spot. So here, give it the shape of the building. Then gray out. Uh, all right. Just gonna pull some of the ink from the sky so we can get a nice sort of gradient. There we go. Bam. Well, that's relatively wet. We're gonna just kind of tug at that downward. Let's get a little bit of gray in here too. All right. Now it's starting to breathe a bit better. The edges here. All right. Now let's pull some of the batarangs up forward. I think we might be done. Get some of that blue out of there. Go. All right. Get my thick liners. And pull these batarangs forward. Something a bit thicker. To do this, I'm still going to break up my line. All right, sort of pull batarang further into the foreground. So it doesn't get lost in all the little details I added to the background here. And it reads like they're spinning. All right. All right. We can add a little bit of ink to the batarangs so they kind of pop out a little bit. A little bit of this ink. All right. I think I think that does it. A little bit of white gel pen to plus those wispy lines. That will close us out for today. Yeah, get some wispy lines in there. All right, there it is. Batman after the bike slide from Akira. Bob, please. And I'm glad. I'm glad that he would be pleased. It fills me with glee. With glee. If Bob's happy, I'm happy. Now for authentication, I'm gonna drop my signature right along here. All right. And there it is. So once again, I want to thank everybody that tuned in, my Twitch audience, my YouTube audience, my Facebook audience. I'm gonna be posting the final art piece, like the clean scan of it, on my Instagram. So make sure that you're following me on Instagram, Wild Inks Ken, all separated by underscore, the way you see it at the bottom of your screen there. Uh, and be sure to like, subscribe, stay notified for the next week's episode. I don't know what I'm going to be drawing yet, but if anyone in the audience is interested in the commission, and you guys wouldn't mind having the commission done live on the stream, hit me up. All right. My email is in the description of this video, along with my Instagram handle. And once you get to the Instagram, like that, just takes you to all my other social platforms. My Blue Sky, my TikTok, Twitter, everything. So listen, I love you guys a bunch. I'll see you this Saturday for Back to the Drawing Board with my partner Will Playden, and after that, you know, I'll catch you on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the next episode of the Lead Poison live stream. Love you guys.